Needless to say, we got a lot of information from Sony yesterday, and we've had a full day to let everything kind of digest. There's been a lot of articles, there's been a lot of interviews, there's been a lot of everything kind of come out that sort of gives us an idea about where everybody kind of stands with this stuff and exactly what's going to happen with the rate that everything is going. And you know what? I find it to be very interesting the way that people sort of attack this, right? It's like people are so very stuck in their ways, and I understand that because I was very stuck in my way, the way that I act and react to video games and things like that, and how I don't want there to be a lot of change and things like that. So I understand why people are hesitant to accept any type of change and things like that. But I do want to get into this because I thought there was a lot of stuff that kind of nobody was talking about, even though it was kind of like stealth announced or announced at very interesting time. So let's get into it. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few changes around here, but that shouldn't stop you from giving us a like and possibly consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. And if you do spend some of your free time with me today, please like the videos. It helps the videos to be seen and it helps the channel to grow. So it's kind of a win-win situation. So anyway, I kind of wanted to talk about this because, listen, Sony went out there, did their thing. They didn't reinvent the wheel with their PlayStation Plus kind of reboot, I guess. That's the best thing that I can kind of come up with. They call it like a reboot or something along those lines. But analysts and gamers are kind of conflicted about it because without the day-and-date exclusives, is it really something worthwhile, or is it something that people are going to kind of flock to? Is it really a competitor to what Microsoft is trying to do? Or is Sony trying to just, prolong, the inevitable, right? Like, it's really weird. So some analysis has said that PlayStation Plus won't have the same pool of Game Pass without day one, releases, which could definitely be the truth. Game Industry Biz asked a number of notable business pundits for their views on the announcements, and responses were mixed. Most agreed that Sony's decision not to add first-party games to the service would make it less of a draw than Game Pass, but they were divided on how much the problem actually was. Piers Harding Rolls of Ampere Analysis claimed that the decision means the new structure won't have the pull of Microsoft's service, adding, "Where I think Sony will try to become more aggressive is with windowing between releases of its new games and then being added to the service, and when adding new releases from third-party developers and publishers." When asked how the decision would affect the success of the service, Michael Goodman of Strategy Analytics replied, "That's a question that ultimately the market will dictate. Microsoft's chosen the day and date has been a critical factor for their success, and I think it has been. We will have to see how important that is to PlayStation fans. There is certainly an argument to be made that it's not critical. Nintendo has done a great job with Nintendo Switch Online. It's been wildly successful, that being, just bringing your back catalog to product. However, Microsoft's big growth happened when they did day and date. It's worth noting they're not competing head-to-head on this. They're mostly taking and talking to their existing install base." Goodman also noted that only around 5% of PlayStation's install base currently subscribes to PlayStation Now, as opposed to over 40% of Xbox owners. As such, the vast majority of PlayStation owners have yet to still sign up to a games demand service system for the platform. Lewis Ward of IDC argued that the new structure will likely pay off for Sony, mainly because the current number of PlayStation Now subscribers is comparatively low. He says, "We'll see if Sony reveals anything about how subscribers break out by tier over time, but it doesn't appear to be a high bar to keep premium subscribers at or above the 4 million mark for PS Now subscribers in 2022, while also landing a sizable new download-only extra subscriber base," he said. Sony's new PlayStation Plus structure will launch on PS4 and PS5 in June, structured across 3 payment tiers: Essential, Extra, and Premium. While the Essential tier offers the same benefits as the current PS Plus, Extra will include 400 downloadable PS4 and PS5 games, while Premium will include cloud streaming as well. Now, a lot of people are kind of taking this, one way or the other, and I think that's fine. But if you want to get down to it, honestly, it's a little bit conservative with what they've kind of been doing. Microsoft has a lot more money than Sony and can afford to do these things. But a lot of PlayStation fans are a little bit disappointed because so many things have left gone unchanged, like the PlayStation Plus collection, right? When this thing was originally announced for PS5, I thought, man, they got a real contender here. But it's still been the same 20 games for, since its launch a year and a half ago or whatever it was. So honestly, it doesn't look like they have any plans to kind of change it. I thought maybe what they were going to do would like update it and remove some games, add some games, something, or continue to add to it. But current PlayStation Plus is undergoing a revamp in June, with Sony announcing these things. But what does this mean for PlayStation Plus? The PlayStation Plus collection launched in November 2020 alongside the PS5 and offered access to 20 different PS4 titles like God of War, Persona 5, and so on. So it seemed that it won't be changing, as Sony recently confirmed to the IGN editor, the PlayStation lead, that PlayStation Plus collection will be staying exactly the same. All PlayStation 5 players with PlayStation Plus can continue to access the collection as before. The all-new PlayStation Plus collection Plus will cost $10 per month for the Essential, $15 for and $100 for the year for Extra, and $18 a month or $120 a year for Premium. Premium tier can access a lot more stuff. So they're not changing that. That's something that is slightly disappointing towards a lot of fans, the fact that they aren't really adding into anything new. It's like they come up with these things and they're kind of good ideas, but then they never really add to it. The other thing that was a really kind of annoying thing was it kind of came out that Sony could emulate the PS3. It's possible on PS5 hardware, as PS3 games remain streaming only. Sony announced the details of their new PlayStation Plus model, which includes 3 subscription tiers, and you can get in a library of games, but only PS3 games, are stream only. The reasoning behind that being available strictly over streaming is that the effort to emulate PS3 games is more involved due to different hardware, but doesn't mean it's impossible. Developers are already talking about this, with developer Dimitri Giannakis, who many would know as Modern Vintage Gamer on YouTube, speaking about it on Twitter, saying emulation of PS3 is absolutely possible on PS5 hardware. Sony has never been interested in investing the millions to make it happen, however. Lance McDonald also chimed in regarding the new service and issues still prevalent with Sony's strategy towards backwards compatibility. I can't get over Sony announcing that they have a PS1 and PS2 emulator up and running on PS4 and PS5 hardware, but they're locking both behind a subscription fee and won't let you play discs you already own. Also, they still can't get PS3 emulation on the PlayStation 5. Now, a catalog of PS3, PS2, PS1, and PSP games is only available to players in the third most expensive tier. It's worth mentioning that the community-led project has been able to figure out PS3 emulation to the point where each game from that console generation will boot up on a PC. A lot of kinks still remain with plenty of games, but what they've achieved is still amazing, considering it's not a giant tech company could have paid them to do it. So a lot of people are talking about this, obviously, the lack of emulation on PS3. I know that there's these diehard PlayStation fans that just refuse to admit that there's any problem, or if they want anything older or whatever, or they say, well, it's a highly requested feature but nobody really uses it. Listen, I would love to go back and play. What's the deal with having options and that being a bad thing? Like, that's the part that I don't get. Like, there should be the options to go back and play these things, and regardless of whether it's you in particular. Like, I had to learn that there was more than just me when it came to Xbox games. I think everybody has to learn that there's more than just themselves. So even if you don't have a particular want or need to play, a PlayStation 3 game or whatever, that doesn't mean that nobody would want to go back and play it. Believe it or not, there's still some games that are locked to that platform, and they don't want to stream games, or they can't stream games, like in my case. So it's unfortunate, because PS3 games, some of them look pretty good still, some of them play still pretty good, and they support trophies, so it'd be a good thing to have that kind of supported. And so you have a lot of PlayStation fans who are upset. Now, do I believe Sony that they specifically can't afford to put day one games into their subscription service? I don't know, probably. They're different than Microsoft. Both of these things can be true. For them, it could damage the quality if they go day one, and for Microsoft, it wouldn't, because Microsoft has the money to go out there and kind of do these things. That's just the fact of the matter. They're relying on the service to be the thing that carries them into the future, 15, 20 years from now. Sony is still banking on the more traditional way, so we'll have to see. But to say that it hurts Microsoft's quality game of the games, it's not, because we know that last year Xbox had the best, most awarded, highest rated average publisher of 2021 with the amount of awards and things like that they had. So we know for a fact that it wasn't the case that, there was some kind of issue there with quality. In fact, I've already said this multiple times. The quality is getting better and better for Xbox. Especially compared to where it was with, the likes of the Crackdown 3s and the Recores and things like that. So, we're going to continue to see this type of growth and things like that. I think that people are a little bit misplaced. Both things can be true. Like I said, it could be Microsoft can do one thing and it not be a problem, and it would be a problem for Sony, and that's going to be something that Sony's going to have to deal with at some point. But the fans are a little bit disappointed that I saw, for the most part. Let me know what you guys think. I'll link all of this in the description. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.